Let's talk about the Cardinals. This is a train wreck of a football team right here.
Awful.
And I know that we're only 1 week removed from them having a breakout game where AP went there and had, a great running game, like put up like 130, 140 yards, something like that. They were terrible. This was one of the worst performances I've seen all year. It was, 27-0, 25-0, 24-0, whatever at halftime. The Cardinals were never in this game in any respect. They had nothing going on. They couldn't run. They couldn't pass. Carson Palmer got his arm broken. I said it in the rundown. I wrote it in the rundown. This might be the end of his career. I mean that. I think this actually might be the end of his career. Mercifully, almost. I think it's time for him to go. This is, The Cardinals need to rebuild, and I think you can put this season on ice for the Cardinals. Absolutely. What do you think?
I agree 100% with all that assessment. So now, fantasy-wise, I think you can kind of put the fantasy players on ice, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Adrian Peterson clearly came back down to earth. I know when we were chatting about him last time, it was like, yeah, he had this monster game, but he kind of looked slow and sluggish doing it. It wasn't like this big explosive guy suddenly is back and it's old AP. It was just like these holes are massive and he's showing pretty good vision. But it wasn't like, oh, this is a special talent right now doing this. And then you look at the rest of the schedule. Without Carson Palmer, they're facing Jacksonville, Los Angeles again, who they just got destroyed by, Washington, who's sporting a top 3 secondary, the Giants in the fantasy playoff, week 16, the fantasy championship. So, down the stretch, there's really only 2 out of 7 matchups that are on paper good matchups. And then when you factor in the Drew Stanton effect, it's even worse. So I hope they turn it over actually to Blaine Gabbert, who looked okay in the preseason. I know that's still god-awful that Blaine Gabbert's your top hope for any type of relevancy here. But I think the offense will move a lot better if they do that. Still, Larry Fitzgerald, you got to consider his value pretty much erased at this point. The number 2 receivers already were a quagmire that you shouldn't have been depending on anyways. And then Adrian Peterson, I think, just kind of showed us his true colors this week, 11 for 21. How could you go out and trust him again? Yeah, he blew up. He might have 1 or 2 more big games. Maybe they're going to lean on him even further. But that line is horrible. It's just, like you said, I think everything on the Cardinals, fantasy-wise, real-life-wise, has to be put on ice. If somebody's buying Larry Fitz or anybody for a decent price, I would sell him, but I doubt anyone's going to be trying to at this point.